Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and my space. If you are new, my name is Racquel, and if you're returning to my Dark Night series, thank you so much for coming back. Thank you for all the support. I'm glad to have you here. If you are new and you have not watched the other videos, I have linked them in the description box below. You do not have to watch them in any certain order, but I do recommend watching the first one first because that goes over the Dark Knight, what the Dark Knight is. It's just a little introductory to it. Oh, and my kitty decided to join us. So this is Octavia. For all of you out there who haven't seen my cat yet, she's always around. I'm going to go through the stages in this video because the Dark Knight, that is something that a lot of us go through. Some of us go through it 3 or 4 times in our life. But it's that push to better yourself, to better your situations, to further your happiness, to put you on your purpose, on your life track. If you've jumped life track, it puts you back on track. So, without further ado, let's get into the stages. So that way you can see where you might be at if you are going through this right now. And yes, I'm doing this. Stage 1, question life. So when you're in stage 1, you often find yourself questioning life. Why are you here? Why is there this void inside of me? Okay. Now, I have been through the Dark Knight 3 times. And I'm going to take one of my times for example, okay? I'll do my most recent one. Octavia. No, kitty. Sorry. So my most recent one came about, I had the husband, I had the job, not the job, I had the husband, the kids, I was a stay-at-home mom, I was doing good, I felt fulfilled, I thought that would fulfill me, but then there was this need or this void inside of me that was saying, this can't be all what life is about for you. It was that nagging purpose, that nagging thing saying that you are meant for so much more. What was I meant for? What would fill that void? At first, I thought it was writing. So, I was doing it. I was happy. I wasn't in my Dark Night yet. But then my book got published, and then I wasn't making what I thought I would make off of it. And then that's what kind of triggered this. I fell into a depression. I didn't know where I was supposed to go, what I was supposed to do. I knew I had to be a mom. I knew I had to be a wife. I knew I had to take care of the house. Yes, but that no longer brought me fulfillment. All right. So, I started questioning life. What is my purpose? What am I supposed to do? How do I make myself more happier? So in that way I can make the people around me happier. Stage 2, grief and resistance. Yeah. So everybody goes through these stages at different times, all right? There's no set time on how long you are in a stage. It all depends on you, on how much you resist each stage instead of going with the flow. But stage 2 is like the total loss of your identity. It's like when you notice your identity is completely gone and you're grieving that. You're in deep mourning over it because you don't know who you are anymore. It is realizing it's like you think that I don't know, Spirit, help me put this into words. It's realizing that what you're doing or what you have been doing is no longer fulfilling, is not who you were at all, that you tricked yourself into false happiness, basically. So you're stuck in this stage of grief, and it's like you don't want to confront it. A lot of people at this time, they go into a deep depression. It's like the top of the hill of the roller coaster. You are starting to question how your life is going, okay? And then all of a sudden, boom, you plummet to the bottom, all right? And this is where you get to stage 2, and it's like you've just like lost all what you thought you were, all right? You've lost every little piece of who you thought you were. And it puts you in mourning over yourself, basically, because you don't know who you are anymore. It's like you knew who you were when you were younger, but now you don't, because you are coming out of society's conditioning. All right, you are coming out of society's conditioning at this point. All right, you've already hit the top of being conditioned by society and having success, and now it's like, wait a minute, this is not who I am, this is not where I want to be. And then you start questioning life, and then it's like your whole self bottoms out. You mourn yourself. You mourn the loss of yourself, because you mourn what you thought you were. All right, you've worked so hard to achieve what you thought you were, right? But that's not you. You know, within the depths of your soul, there's something else out there for you. There's other happiness out there for you that you're meant for, that you're supposed to do. And you know there's a soul calling, a higher purpose for yourself, but you can't act on it right now because you're still thinking about what you used to be, and you're mourning what you used to be, what society made you, okay? So however long you stay in this process depends on when you stop resisting that change, knowing that what you were before does not define who you will be in the future. It's like coming to that realization that that's going to happen, all right? So, which leads me into the next stage. Oh, before I get into the next stage, I do want to say that, because I am sharing my personal experience here, I have gone through it 3 times. So with my last experience, stage 1 was all about realizing that I was unfulfilled and questioning why I was unhappy. What more did I need to do? So that was my stage 1. When my stage 2 came, I fell into a deep depression. I was like, that is who I was supposed to be. I was supposed to be the mom. I'm supposed to be the wife. I'm supposed to be the caregiver. I'm supposed to be the homemaker. And, that's what I was conditioned to be. But it's like, now that was gone, I had to come to the realization that I am not the perfect wife. I'm not the perfect mother. I'm not the perfect caregiver. That is not what defines me. I had to come to that realization. That's how I broke out of stage 2. I stopped resisting that thing that said, oh, you have to be this, this, and this, and started realizing that there was something else for me. And when I realized there was something else for me, I let go of the past me. I finally let go of the past me, and I stopped grieving over the person who I was not, and started wanting to go towards the person I was supposed to be. I didn't know who it was yet, but I knew I wanted to go in that direction. So I gave up the resistance. This time for me, it took about 6 months. I'm not going to lie. It took about 6 months, because we're talking, the wife, the mother, the the homemaker, that was my thing for so long that I had to finally realize that's not who I am. That wasn't making me happy. All right. Okay. So, sorry about the signs, guys. I'm doing this for timestamp purposes. But stage 3, going hermit. Going hermit. All right. So, once you stop resisting the change, because it's like when you bottom out, and then you kind of stop. It's like you resist the change. You hit a brick wall. It's like you don't want to keep going, right? You hit that wall of resistance. Once you get through that wall of resistance and you realize that what you were before, it doesn't define who you are in the future, that what you were before isn't your true happiness, what you are going for in the future is your true happiness. You don't know what that is yet, but you want to go towards it. You end up isolating yourself. You end up sleeping a lot. You end up not caring about life anymore, not caring about the people in your life. I'm not saying that not saying you're going to stop caring, because you do have loved ones and you do genuinely love them, right? But it's like, you just don't care what anybody thinks anymore. You're like, F society, F people, I'm doing me, this is me, and if you can't accept it, then F off. That's basically what it is. And you start questioning all what you're being pulled towards. You start maybe researching it, but you do regret. You do still have a little bit of remorse or a little bit of regret that you aren't the person you are before. Okay, you do still have that, but it's not as bad as stage 2. Okay, you could feel worthless because you can't find your calling, because you can't find your true being yet, because it depends on how long, everyone's different. Everybody reacts differently. Everybody has different planets in their natal charts that make, the energies all wonky and stuff like that, and how we react to things differently. But it's like, you want to be something else, so you isolate yourself. You sleep a lot. You heal. This is a time of deep healing, because it's like your ego has been stripped away at this point. At stage 3, your ego has been stripped away. So your soul is bare, and your ego is a little battered and a little bruised, right? So it's like you need to take this alone time to heal. You need to just go with the flow. Self-care is very important at this time. And also paying attention to what you are curious about. All right? Because when you're in this healing energy, you're here in this healing zone, you might be curious about certain things, especially when you spend a lot of time alone. You end up thinking about things. You end up wondering about things. So follow your curiosity. Follow your curiosity. This is the time, stage 3 is the time for you to get to know your soul self. The soul self that has been trapped and hidden by that ego. All right? So this is a time for the ego to heal, for the soul to heal, for your higher self to heal, for you to finally get the chance to talk to your soul self, to figure out what your passions are. What are you curious about, okay? And start taking little steps going towards that curiosity. This is how you're going to heal. This is how you're going to get through this stage much faster. For me, I did a lot of some things, happened when I started saying, F this, F everyone, F you, I don't care because I want to do me. Nobody worries about me. I'm going to worry about me. When I started doing that, some things in my life got a little turned up. There were some things that hit me really hard because some people didn't like the fact that I was taking time to myself. All right, that I was taking time for self-care, and they thought that I didn't care about them. It's not that I didn't care about them. It's that I had been caring about them for so long that I hadn't cared about myself, and I needed that time for myself. But because of that, some things happened. I'm not going to say what the tragic event was because all parties are not healed from it yet. I know I'm healed from it, but it was kind of like a third party situation, so I kind of don't want to talk what the event was. But I will say that at that time, I kind of did bring it on myself, but it was a time of deep healing that needed to happen because I needed to heal from it. You know what I mean? So, that all being said, yeah, you're tired all the time. You're isolated all the time. It's because you're finding yourself. You're talking to your soul self. You're getting to know your soul self. All right? Which brings me into stage. Oh, wait. And so, just a quick side note, while I was finding myself, while I was isolating myself, I turned to spirituality. I turned to YouTube. I turned to tarot because I used to do tarot back when I was like 17, 18. So I turned back to that. I started watching tarot on YouTube, and that started making me feel better. I would find little distractions that would make me happy. Like I would watch, for me, every time there's something wrong going on in my life or I'm sad, I watch the Golden Girls. That's just how I've been. I'm an 80s child, so the Golden Girls always put a smile on my face. So every time I'm upset, I watch the Golden Girls. But I started, I isolated myself. I slept a lot. I laid around a lot. Because of that, my housework suffered. I'm painting a pretty good picture here. I mean, it's not pretty. It's not pretty. The stage 3 is one of the hardest stages because it's like you're finding your own love for yourself. And in that process, people around you that are so used to you doing things for them will probably be upset that you're not doing those things anymore because you're taking care of yourself. You're taking care of your self-need. All right. So yeah, going hermit. Going hermit is one of the big things, and how I got through it was by following my curiosity. Now, for somebody else, it might not be watching tarot videos. It might not be, that other spiritual stuff. It might be you want to watch cooking videos. You've always been interested in cooking, but you never followed your dream. So now you're watching cooking videos all the time, or you're reading cookbooks, or for others, they fall into reading books, like nonfiction or fictional books, and it's like, okay, I have a passion for writing. They find out that they have a passion for writing, or if you're going hermit, maybe you start watching sports or something, and then you're like, I always wanted to be a really good dancer, or I always wanted to be really good at baseball. And then you start, going out there and doing it on your own. Whatever is piquing your curiosity while you're in hermit mode, whatever is calling to you while you're in stage 3 in hermit mode, that is where you need to go. You need to follow that curiosity because that is your soul telling you that is your life purpose. All right? So you need to go with it. You need to go with it. And like I said, with me, I used to read tarot when I was 17. So it's like I started watching tarot again and I got back into tarot. And I did occult stuff back when I was 18 or 17, 18. So, I got back into the spirituality. I didn't want to do occult stuff. I did not want to do occult stuff. Been there, done that, right? So, but I got into spirituality. So that's basically what I'm saying. Follow your curiosity. That is very important during stage 3. This will help you get out of stage 3 much quicker. And I will say that during stage 3 also, it's like this is a time also where you're confronting all your demons, you're confronting all your pain, everything that you need to confront, because you're no longer resisting the pain. You're no longer resisting what you need to work on within inside yourself. Okay, so you're finally in stage 3, you're finally confronting that, you're finally moving past that, and to do that, you have to go into hermit mode, and you have to find your curiosity, follow your curiosity, all right? Confront your demons, shadow work. This is about shadow work, okay? We're not all innocent, and there are some things that you will have to confront, some past pains that you've been through. Maybe you caused pain to somebody else, or maybe they've caused pain to you. Whatever the case may be here, it's about, diving deep and digging into those wounds, the wounds that the soul is pushing on. All right? Okay. So, stage 4, surrender. All about surrender. Admit that you're lost. Admit that you're lost. You might know the direction to go, but this is where you need to seek guidance. You need to surrender yourself up to the universe. Tell the universe to take all your pain away. Tell the universe, well, not take all your pain away, but tell the universe, I'm tired of living hermit. I'm tired of being in this somber mode. I want to go towards my dreams. I surrender this all up to you. I need some guidance. Please send me some guidance, okay? This is when you know you've hit stage 4, when you can surrender everything up to the universe and to just go with the flow. When you can just go with the flow by asking a higher power to help you fix your problem. Now, you might find signs, synchronicities, stuff like that, but you're admitting there's a problem, you're admitting you have a problem, and you're seeking the ways to fix it, whether that's spiritually, whether that's going out and getting counseling, whether that is going to a therapist, whether that is you asking your friends or your family for help. Whatever it is, it's you surrendering to the universe and saying, I need help. And with me, what it was is, finally surrendering, all my pain up, forgiving people that had done me wrong, that had done me really wrong. Forgiving people, okay? People would look at me and they're like, you're crazy. You're going to forgive that? You're going to forgive that? And I'm like, yep, because I don't need to be stuck in this pain anymore. Forgiveness is not about saying that what happened to you was right. It is not about saying that the person that did the things to you or the people that did the things to you were right. It's about saying, yes, it happened. I know why it happened. I learned this thing from it. I see that it had to happen in order to get me where I am now. So I let go of all that pain. I surrender that pain by forgiving. Forgiveness is for you. It's not for the other person. It's to help you move forward. It's not saying that they are right. It's not you saying, okay, what you did to me was okay. No, that's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is letting go of it, saying, I no longer want to live in the misery of this pain anymore. All right. It's about getting your power back. Once you forgive, trust me, you get your power back. You get your power back once you forgive. So that's what stage 4 is. It's all about forgiveness. It's all about surrender. It's about finding ways, seeking ways to fix your problem. Keep following that curiosity. Keep following whatever nagged at you when you were in stage 3, whatever your soul was saying when you were in stage 3. All right? And that's what I did. I forgave people that I had to forgive. I surrendered myself up to the universe. I did it because I wanted to move on. I didn't want that situation or that event to control me anymore. So I sent it up to the universe. And, I forgave myself. I also forgave myself for, because I was so hard on myself in stages 2 and 3. I forgave myself for, for working so hard to be that perfect mom, that perfect whatever. I forgave myself because I realized that it helped me become the person that I am today. Me giving my life, devoting my life to my family and my husband and stuff, and devoting my life to other people. I devoted my life to other people a lot before I went through this. I devoted, anytime somebody said jump, I said how high. Anytime somebody said, I need a favor, I'm like, what do you need? You know what I mean? I was constantly giving. And I had to forgive myself for being that way. I felt like that for a minute when I was in stage 2. I felt like I was weak. I was really hard on myself. I'm like, you're a weak person, da-da-da-da-da. But you know what happened is when I hit stage 4 and I surrendered it, I found out that was not a weakness. That was a strength. I was strong because I could give to people and not constantly worry about myself. But see, that led to my own detriment. So I had to forgive myself for being so giving and so hard on myself. I had to forgive myself for being so hard on myself, for being a giving person. So stage 4 is all about surrender. Forgiveness, surrender, ask for guidance, find ways to fix your problem, to see your way out of the problem. Which brings me to stage 5. Your light shines. All right? So depending on however long it takes you to surrender with stage 4, once you've surrendered, once you're seeking guidance, once you're seeking help, once you're seeking a therapist, depends on how long it takes for you to get through that. When you have hit stage 5, when you feel yourself living your true authentic self, your true authentic being, when you are happy and there is no more void there, and you know how to make yourself happy, you don't need others to make you happy. You can see the signs, you can see the synchronicities in life on what path you need to go. You can use your intuition is more stronger. You know what you need to be doing, where you should be going. You know your life's purpose. You are on track. You are on the right track, and you know your life's purpose. And you know this is what you were sent here to do. You embrace the change that came, and then you look back and you're like, oh, wow. You're like, if I ever had to go through that again, I could endure it no problem, because you've already been through it, okay? It's seeing whatever, you had to go through that dark night, and looking back on it and saying, wow, if I was ever faced with that again, I think I could endure it. I think that just not just thinking, knowing that you can endure it. You have this amount of courage. It gives you this extreme amount of courage. You feel this extreme amount of courage. Also, you're shining a light onto others. You want to help others. It makes you feel like you need to help others who are going through this as well. That's why there's so many videos on Dark Night of the Soul. A lot of us are going through it right now. And if I can help anybody that is going through this, that just makes me a lot more happier, because this is the reason why I started my channel, was to help people that are going through trials, tribulations, through their dark night, to help them up out of it, because I've been through it. I've been through it 3 times in my life. The first 2 times were pretty quick. I mean, they only lasted like a year each, I'd say. This last one, it lasted a good 6 years, because it was the total breakdown of my structure, like the total breakdown, the total collapse of it. So it all depends on the person you are. If you accept change, then you're going to be able to get through it easier. You're going to be able to get through it faster. I don't know. I went through a lot of transitional periods in my life. A lot of transitional periods, and I've gone through Dark Night of the Soul twice. When I was younger, it was easier for me to transition through it, but as I got older, my third one, it wasn't so easy. But I feel like that's because of situation, what I was surrounded by, and how long I was stuck there. You know what I'm saying? You need to go with the flow, let it happen, and you will get through it quicker. If you're stubborn and you fight the process, then you are going to stay in it longer. So you can either decide to go with the change or to fight against the change. And I guess you can say that my last one, it lasted about 6 years. And I feel like that's because I was stubborn. I didn't want to change who I was. I was still trying to live up to everybody's expectations. So I was stubborn. I was like stubborn in that aspect, because it was breaking down this part of me that felt the need to please everyone and forget about myself. So it took, that one kind of took a little bit. That was a harder lesson for me to learn. The harder lessons will take a little bit longer. They're the ones that you find it really hard to change. You resist it a lot more. And when you resist it, you stay in it longer. So if you can fight the resistance, if you can just go with the flow and let it happen and surrender to the process, you will go through it a lot quicker. But when you're in stage 5, it's like you got this new lease on life. It's like the sun is out, the birds are singing. It's like you finally feel like life, like you have a purpose in life. You feel like there is a purpose to life. You feel like life has purpose in general. Like every life has purpose in general. You have a newfound respect for yourself. You admire yourself. You have great self-love. You can look in the mirror and see just like the light around you. All right. So this is how you know you've made it, is when you can look at the past, what you have gone through the dark night, and you can say, man, I can't believe I survived that. And I am so glad I survived that. That was a rush. Because it is. It's kind of like a rush. When you get to stage 5, it's almost like, you know how you're afraid to get on the roller coaster? Some people are afraid to get on the roller coaster or afraid to get on the high ride. and you're resisting it, you're resisting it, you're resisting it because you're afraid, you've never been on it before. But then you get on it and you go through it, and yeah, it scares the crap out of you. You might even cry, you might even break down, you might even pee your pants along the way. But when you get to the end and it's done, the ride is over and you get off, you're like, you have all this adrenaline rush in you, and it's like the world seems brighter, everything seems better. It's a high. And then it's like, man, let's do it again. That wasn't so bad. Let's do it again. All right. It's like building up that endurance, building up that stamina. And then you can help other people who are going through the same thing. You know, that it could happen, you know, with near-death experience. Somebody could be going through that and questioning their purpose in life. It could be, you know, you climbed the success ladder in your career, you've hit the top, but it's like it's still not fulfilling to you. So why? That's how it can start. It can start from heartbreak or betrayal. It also can start by just, you know, feeling life like life is mundane now. Like it's that absence of happiness. It's the absence of happiness that triggers it. All right. So just know that if you're going through this, I feel for you. I really do. But I know what's going to happen as soon as you come out of it. And it is like one of the best things that you can go through in life, because it truly is a blessing once you come out. All right. It is a blessing because then you know who you are. You're no longer conditioned by society. And you can live in your authentic self and go for your life purpose. And like I said, you know, this can happen 2 or 3 times throughout your life. And the reason why that is because, you know, once we find our purpose and we're on our track, society can recondition us to jump off our track, if you know what I mean. You can let society's viewpoints tend to get back in. Sometimes they come back in, and you recondition yourself to society's needs again. And then what happens? You need another dark night of the soul. So if you're going through this and you've already been through it and you're in stage 5, just make sure you're always staying true to your authentic self. Make sure that you're not letting society condition you, because when you do that, the moment you start doing that is the moment you start living your soul self. And then that's the moment the ego awakens and is like, yes, 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 we're going to protect the soul now because the soul went through so much trauma. And then each dark night, it gets harder and harder and harder to go through each time you go through it, because it's like society conditions you harder and harder and harder after each process. So just make sure that if you've gone through it, or you're in stage 5, or you're coming out of it, you're in stage 4, put that intention out there that you will not let society dictate who you are anymore, or dictate how you live your life anymore. That's very important, because you can get reconditioned by society. All right. All right. Well, I hope that this video enlightened you on the stages of Dark Night of the Soul. If you have any questions, please put them down in the description box. If this video helped you, please give it a like. If you like my videos, please subscribe so you can get further videos on this subject matter and other subject matter. I do tarot here. I talk about spiritual things. So if you like it, subscribe. Until the next video, bye.